Hello everyone, coming to you on a cold, rainy April 6th day. So as I said in the last video, I would try and make another one today. A little update on the tournament. So I was very nervous, very stressed out. We got in a really hard draw and I was really worried about winning. And we ended up only going 2-2. So not the greatest day. Dropped some rating points, but it doesn't really matter to me, rating. But in the last two games, I got to have a little bit of fun. I think I just need to chill out a little bit and not put so much pressure on myself in these games because, it is for fun. Today, I wanted to make a video. I think I'm going to title it Grief. And I'm just going to talk about grief and some poems that I saw about it, and we're going to walk and talk, and we're going to see where this takes us. So first poem. It's when you're happy and in love with things that you get the privilege to grieve. And I say privilege of grief because we can only grieve when we have something to lose. And what a beautiful thing it is to have something to lose. And I think this really, for me, applies to everything in life. Because if you really think about it, we are always grieving something, right? Because to live is to lose. We're always losing something. We're always losing friends, family, pickleball matches, tennis games, test scores, job offers, things in our job, right? We're always losing things. But I think on the opposite side of loss, we have meaning, we have hope, we have value, right? Because I think value in things are derived from having the ability to lose those things, right? Like when you're dating someone, the value is the person, but the value is that the person can go whenever, right? And it's not always a large part, but it definitely is part of it, right? Knowing that tomorrow I could wake up and not have this thing anymore adds to the value that it is today. Knowing that I could lose a match at any point adds to the value of winning the match, right? So I think that's why the emphasis on it is a privilege to grieve is so important. Because without grief, we wouldn't know what it's like to be happy and win, right? We have to have grief to juxtapose it to other things in our life. And if we didn't have these things, then life would be pretty mediocre and pretty boring, I would say. And just as a quick intersection, as I was saying yesterday, as you can even see it in my face, I've just gotten significantly leaner, so that's very nice. But yes, I think it's important to know that we need to be losing things all the time, because if we're not losing things, then it makes it incredibly hard to know what winning is like, right? Because when you're at the bottom and you are grieving, it really is a beautiful thing. Because, I would say, how lucky am I and how beautiful is it for me to have something to lose, right? How lucky am I to be chosen by someone and to be able to lose that person, right? I feel incredibly lucky that in my life I've already got to experience these things, these feats, right? I've got to experience being at the top of things and having a person, and then losing all of those things and losing games and not having it be my day. And I've got the privilege to experience those things. I've got this privilege to have best friends and have no friends and gain friends like I've talked about yesterday, and have no love life, and then have a love life, and then not have one. I've had the privilege of experiencing all of these things. And I, in my younger years, and even recently, right, I think I've taken those things for granted, because it's hard to it's hard to evaluate your own life when all you're doing is comparing it with your own experience, right? You really have to look outwardly to see where you are falling on the social pecking order, right? For example, I always used to think, it's really awesome that I have friends and a girlfriend. And then I lost those things and I was like, damn, I feel so bad that I can't experience these things anymore. But then you make new friends and you talk to them and you realize maybe the position that I was in was very unique after all. Maybe not everyone gets to experience these things as I have experienced them, right? Not everyone has the privilege to grieve a university romance. Not everyone has the privilege to grieve friends, right? A lot of friends. Because not everyone gets that, right? Not everyone has the privilege of going to college and getting a degree and succeeding and doing a master's program and doing wonderful things, right? I'm in a very unique position that I get to do that. And I think my perspective over time has increased, right? I've learned that I have had a lot of privileges, and even though in moments of bitter and grief, those are privileges as well, right? Because really grief is just the privilege of experience. And if you were to ask me, would I give up the experiences that I had, knowing that I would be in grief one day and I could avoid all of it? I would tell you absolutely not. 100 times I would redo the exact same experiences, knowing that they could end at any moment, even if you guaranteed me that they ended. Obviously I would be hesitant because it's not something that I would want, but it's something that's so powerful and so awesome, And I'm not sure it's something that everyone considers. I often find myself thinking, I wonder if these people still think of me. I wonder if they felt the grief that I feel. I wonder how they felt moving on and letting go and living their life. I wonder if they thought the moments that we shared together were a waste. I wonder if they felt that letting go was their final act of love. I wonder how hard it is for them to grieve and what it looks like. I wonder why they never reached out again. These are all things that I wonder, but I have the privilege to wonder about them because I had the privilege to experience them. And I think that puts me in a unique position to say loving things and losing things is never a waste, because there's always things on the other side for us to experience that we were ignoring before, right? My dad always used to say something that was quite profound to me, and it's become increasingly more profound at the time. But he would say, when we're so focused on a goal, whether it's a job or a person or a grade, we tend to ignore the things that are already there for us, right? I'm so focused on getting this good grade on a test, I ignore all the other good things that I've done because all I care about is this one goal. When I'm chasing a girl, I ignore all the other people around me, and we spend months, years chasing these things to no avail, when in reality the things that we probably wanted were in front of us in the first place, right? And I just think it's important to be appreciative of those things. Even in moments of grief, you have to be appreciative. I think that segues me into the next piece of literature. The final act of love is letting go, you said. The first poem I didn't write about you. The first poem I didn't write about you was still about you. And I think this is important because part of grief is an acceptance. I would say when it comes to love, part of grieving is the acceptance that the love is gone. And I think for some people that's very easy, and for some people that's very hard, right? I would say for me specifically, that's a very hard thing to do. And it's hard because you don't have the thing that you once loved a lot anymore, right? That's one aspect. But it's also a feeling of, is there something that I could have done more to keep this thing around? Or was this just a thing that I was meant to possess for a short time and then go away, right? You know, there is a notion out there that people would say, you know, and they often use it when they date people of specific eye colors and stuff, you know. They always say that, you know, when you start dating someone with a different eye color, that suddenly the eye color before didn't matter so much. So for my example, the person I was with had bright blue eyes. They are beautiful. They could light up the sky. I remember when the light would touch her eyes, it was angelic in a way, right? You know, and we'd always lament about, if we had children, how their eye color would look. And I think that's an interesting part about society and about love is our eyes. Our eyes tell everything. So I think it's really important to understand eye color. And the notion is, she had blue eyes. And if I found someone with brown eyes, suddenly blue eyes wouldn't be so important to me, right? And I think, you know, the piece is like, you're getting over someone, right? But I think there might be a deeper connection there saying, you know, when I found my brown eyes, when I found someone new, suddenly the blue eyes, my past, didn't feel all that bad anymore. Suddenly, rather than being an ex, they were just an experience, and rather than being a love lost, they were just something in my past that I could learn from, right? And I think that's something that's important to do and important to experience every once in a while. And that's why I think, in spite of losing love, you have to keep loving, even though it goes against everything that you feel. You still have to open yourself up and feel things and be things and grieve loudly, exist loudly. And, you know, this is why I always say, if I'm going to date someone, I want to date the right person. And I think in this moment in time, the right person for me is an extroverted individual who is bright and happy and colorful and, you know, feels like spring, right? And I know equating people to seasons is very shallow of me, but I think it's something that's important to do. Because I would say for me, and if you were to ask the people who have loved me, they'd probably equate me to winter or fall, right? Which is fine. And I'd say sometimes I feel like summer, but I'd say for the most part, I feel like winter or fall, right? And if I'm going to be winter or fall, there's nothing wrong with that. I want my summer and spring, right? And I would say there are unique types of people who evoke specific emotions and make you grieve in specific ways. So I would say let me just stop and show you this beautiful tree. But I would say for my past lover, so, you know, someone asked me actually, they said, oh, what season was this person? And I said they were unique because they felt like spring. And it's hard to find people who feel like spring. You can find a lot of people that feel like summer, who are really happy and really, really awesome. But finding people like spring is quite hard, right? You know, it's on the point of extroverted and happy, but mellow and understanding and loving. Knowing not everything is about them, but it's also about the collective us. And being able to understand that and feel that is just very important. And I think when we attempt to grieve those people, it becomes, it just evokes a different level of emotion than what it feels like to grieve someone from summer. Because when you have someone from summer, at least when I've had them, you get this feeling that there are other people out there like this. So yes, I lost this feeling, but I will feel it again. Whereas when you grieve spring, you get this longful yearning, this feeling of, I might not get this again. I know summer will be hot, and I know it will be happy, and there'll be lots of things, but I don't know if that's how spring will be. I don't know if spring will be cold, or sunny, or warm, or rainy. I have no idea. It could be so many different things. And I think grieving those type of people, it hurts. It really does hurt. It really makes you question so many things. And I think to segue into my final piece of literature, the year slips away after March. Tomorrow it will be December. Tomorrow I will promise not to write about you again. And I think the important part there is time slips away. And that's why I've been so intentional this year about my goals and my passions, because before I know it, I blink and everything that I've gotten is gone. Change occurs. I graduate. I move on. I live alone. I stop seeing friends every day. I meet someone new. We do amazing things. We live together, start a family. And I think for me, what hurts sometimes is knowing that the things that I have now, I likely will not have in the future. The people that I know now, I likely will not know in the future. And it hurts because it's almost like I'm pre-grieving these people, but it's the acceptance that I know that they will be gone. And I'm almost guaranteed that they will be gone. And it hurts. It really does. Because, people grow up, people move on, people meet others, people change, I change. As I said at the beginning, we are always losing everyone. And I think that's true now more than ever. And it sucks. Because me being a person who has a hard time grieving and a hard time maybe reflecting back on things and learning from things, I've become quite comfortable in knowing that I have people to go to. And, 4 months ago, I did not have that. And I think I would tell you 4 months ago, I didn't care that I did not have that. But now I would tell you that I care a whole lot. I care so much that I have something to lose. And it hurts to know that I could lose those things. And I don't know why. Because like I said, switching from this lone wolf mentality to now I have a pack. Now I have people and things to impress. I have someone looking over my shoulder saying, What are you doing? Are you happy? Are you sad? How are you feeling today? And it is an unnatural feeling, because it is a feeling that I received in college from friends and girlfriend. And I kind of lost that in the 6 months that followed college. I did lose that. I lost it a lot. Maybe 6-7 months. I lost it. And it was just weird to go from this state of grief to a state of bliss, serendipity. Like, it's okay. I'm okay. The things that I was worrying about, I'm probably over now. I don't think that I think of them and feel the same things anymore, whether it's friends or family. And now I think people do care about me, and they do want me to be excited and happy and care about my feelings. And there's a certain emotion I can't even describe that feels very weird to me. It's a new emotion, because I've had people care for me and I've had people love me, but this is a different way. This is in a more grown-up, adult-like way. In a way that makes me want to run and hide and be the lone wolf and never come out again. But it's in a way that I know I cannot do that. I know that I need to be there for those people as they are there for me. And keep being there for new people. And keep pushing and keep experiencing new things and not going into the shell. Because I think just as easy as it's to ignore grief and not grieve, it's easy to go into the shell and not interact with people and not do things. It's easy. It doesn't hurt here. It doesn't hurt here anymore. And I would say it doesn't hurt to be cared for, but it opens you up to being hurt. But I think that's something that I need. I need to open myself up to knowing that all of this could go away and that I'll be in pain. Because that makes it special, and that makes it valuable, and that makes me enjoy it. And I think to enjoy these things, I need to do them. I need to love them authentically, often, all the time. And I think if I could do those things, then there will be something on the other side for me, and there will be someone on the other side for me. There will be people, because no one ever got anything from not trying at things, and no one ever got anything for doing nothing and being chill and not caring. No one ever got anything from that. So I think now that I'm out of this stage of grief and attempting to find new, I'm opening myself up to new grief that I didn't know to experience. But I think that's fine. I think it's okay. Because with the new grief comes new discoveries, becomes new people, comes new things, and quite frankly, comes a new me. You know, I am who I am because of who I've loved and who I've lost. And I can tell you, it's never been a waste. I've always learned something. I've always done something. I've always gained something. I've always gotten something out of it. Because when we don't grieve and we don't get any things out of it, and we don't feel a sense of loss, then I would argue, was it really worth it to have those people around so long? If it didn't bring you to your knees and make you feel so sad and make you feel like you had really lost something, then did it really mean anything in the first place? And I would argue probably not. So, in an effort to not cry, not get emotional, I am going to sign off there. It says video number 14. I cannot fucking believe it. I can't believe how far we've gotten this year. I can't believe the people that we've met and the things that we've done. It really does blow my mind. I don't know. It makes me so damn appreciative of all the things that I have and all the things that I've lost. So that's me signing off. Video number 15 coming up. Cannot believe it. At this rate, we might have 45 videos by the end of the year. So that is wild to me. So I'm glad I could find the time to make this. And like I said in the last one, my schedule's opening up a lot. So that's nice. And I really hope, I think, at the end of, the next new year, 26, I want to watch all of these and see how far I've come. See how I look, how I feel, how I talk, how I speak. Just evaluate all of my emotions. Because I think it's very important to do. So I will upload this and sign off. See you all in the next.